Hi, I'm Jen Peters. Thank you so much for joining me. In this conversation, we're going to be looking at the signs that it's actually time to leave a toxic relationship. And also, we're going to touch on why it's so hard to leave a toxic relationship, especially when we know it's not good for us. Don't worry, I've been there too, so I do get it. So oftentimes it's really hard to know when is the right time to leave, like when has it gone too far. Okay, this is often because there's very rarely a clear delineation. It's not usually a case of everything is rosy one day and then all of a sudden it's not the next. Usually the toxicity permeates the relationship over a period of time. Once one line gets crossed, another gets crossed, and then another and another. And before you know it, this is your normal in the relationship. And all the while, there's a whole lot of resentments being built up as well. I know for me personally, my biggest mistake was staying in a relationship once certain lines were crossed that I said I would never tolerate until I did. So I ended up tolerating physical abuse and infidelity a number of times, actually. As it turns out, it was actually my own self-worth or lack of self-worth that actually kept me there. Because here's the thing, and this is why it's so hard to leave relationships even when they're obviously not good for us. Our own unhealed wounds bond with their unhealed wounds, and oftentimes there's actually a match between them. For example, me having self-worth, low self-worth, my partner had low self-worth as well. They match together. So they're highly magnetic, and when our wounds bond with their wounds, it's extremely intoxicating. We feel like we've come home. We feel like we're seen for the first time, like somebody actually gets us. And the reason is because they've actually got a very, very similar wound. It may well be playing out slightly differently for them, but they do have the same kind of wounds that we have. They're mirroring them to us, and it feels like we're coming home to ourselves. So the issue is, though, that when we have unhealed wounds, it's really hard to step away from the relationship because our unhealed wounds keep us attached. And you may have noticed and experienced this yourself, that sometimes you can actually feel that it feels physically hard or even hurts to pull away from a relationship. So here are a few signs that it is time to actually leave these types of relationships. So one of them is that you might be walking on eggshells, never quite sure what to say, what to do, what you're going to get when you get home. You might live on high alert or have a lot of fear and anxiety. You'll feel confused a lot of the time and destabilized, and especially if you are in a narcissistic dynamic, the gaslighting causes us to feel extremely confused a lot of the time because the ground is shifting beneath us. The goalposts are always moving too. If you're being discouraged from growing and expanding, seeing your friends, family, growing within your career and so on. If you're feeling like you're an empty shell of who you once were. If you're finding that your boundaries are regularly disregarded, or if you're being put in a position where you're constantly violating your own boundaries as well. If your needs and feelings are being deprioritized, so you're having to constantly put their needs and feelings first above your own and denying your own in the process. If you're finding that you're really afraid to speak your truth, or you're quickly shut down when you do. Firstly, I want you to know that I see you. I personally have experienced all of this as well. I know how it feels. But I also want you to know that there absolutely is a way forward. And there is so much more available to you than what you're experiencing right now. Okay, so I'm going to create some further videos that will actually step you through how to get out of a relationship like this. But in the meantime, please feel free to check out my videos on YouTube because I've got a lot there. that will actually help you to begin dissolving your own unhealed wounds, okay, which will actually help you to unhook yourself from the relationship more easily. And please do leave a comment below and let us know what are the top 3 things that you are experiencing in your relationship. What are you feeling most days? Thank you so much for being here, and I am sending you so much love and blessings. Mwah.